Am I the a-hole for digging into my friend's boyfriend's past behind her back and then telling her family what I found? I, 30 female, have a close friend, 30 female, with 2 kids. We've been best friends since we were 16. She recently started a relationship with a guy she met on TikTok who lives in another state. According to her, they've been talking for about a year, but they only met in person for the first time last weekend. Despite that, she's already considering have him move here and live with her and the kids. She doesn't currently have much income, so she would likely be financially dependent on him if that happened. Call me crazy, but bringing a random TikTok stranger to come live with you and your kids is fucking crazy and dangerous. Early on, when I asked about him, she refused to tell me his real name and would only refer to him by a stage name because he's apparently in some kind of band. Every time I asked his real name, she deflected back to the stage name. Let me make something clear. The only time this friend has ever kept anything from me is when she knows she's wrong and is avoiding getting called out for it. Oh shit. A few things she told me raised red flags for me. 1. He claims he's a paramedic in New Mexico. Okay, I'm not sure how that's a red flag necessarily. 2. He has 6 kids between 2 women ranging from about 15 years old to 9 months old. But he says he has no contact with any of them because all of his exes are crazy? All right, if the first one wasn't a red flag, the second one made up for it. That's like 2 red flags, if not 3. What the fuck? Girl, the dick can't be that good, guys. It just can't. They've only seen each other once, bro. Like, it's not even dick. The thumbs, the fucking sexting thumbs, they can't be that good, bro. Someone tells me they have 6 kids and are no contact with all of them? Like, what? Oh my God, I can't believe this woman, OP's friend, has kids. Cause like, I'm sorry, bro, but I'm getting that your friend is really dumb. 3, she's only met him once in person, but is already talking about marriage and moving in together. Because this situation felt serious, I ended up looking him up. After piecing together some information from his social media, I was able to find his legal name. Once I had that, I found public court records showing he had been charged with first-degree murder in New Mexico after a shooting during an argument with an eventual plea deal of voluntary manslaughter. Okay, bro, at this point, thank God OP FBI'd a little bit. Because clearly this woman did not FBI even a tiny eensy-weensy little bit. According to the reports, there were dozens of witness statements saying there was no struggle, just an argument, a gun pulled, a question asked, and then the trigger pulled. He was incarcerated from 2016 to 2024. I also tried verifying the paramedic claim by checking the New Mexico EMS license lookup and could not find any license under his name. Oh, okay, I'm guessing that's why this was a red flag. When I brought this up to her, she said the case was self-defense and told me not to judge him for his past. I told her I wasn't judging his past as much as I was worried about how quickly everything was moving and the things that weren't adding up. She also claimed there were no witnesses, even though the reports say otherwise. The conversation got heated and she insisted everything was fine. Girl, we are nowhere near fine. We are in boiling water, boiling acid, if that's possible. I don't know if that's even fucking possible, but that's how deep in shit we are, girl. Like, what do you mean? Everything is fine. At that point, I was honestly worried about the kids potentially being moved into a situation with someone she has only met once in person and whose story doesn't seem to add up. Because of that, I told her 2 sisters and the fathers of her kids about what I found so they could at least be aware of the situation. Big fat W, bro. Especially the fathers of the kids. Like, ain't no fucking way. I am using this evidence to get full custody of my kid. Now she's furious and says I betrayed her and went behind her back. I know going to her family and the kids' dads was a big step and maybe I overstepped. But because children could potentially be involved in moving into the situation, I felt like staying quiet would have been irresponsible. I very much believe people can change for the better, but given her track record of awful taste in men and the fact she has 2 young kids she's exposing to anyone she dates, it's not worth the risk. She seems determined to screw herself up, but I had to draw the line for the kids, even if it means losing my lifelong friend. That's literally it right there, bro. You draw the line for your kids. I'm sorry, I don't care how long you've been friends. That friend is putting their kids in danger and you can do something about it, you fucking do something about it. Holy shit. Thank God there was a trusted adult who was willing to do the research to find how awful this man was and tell the people who can make a difference. Because, oh my God, talk about a fucking Netflix documentary in the making, bro. Holy shit. Chad, am I wrong trying to say people like the boyfriend should not be allowed to be on social media. Hey man, if you're reformed or whatever the fuck you want to say, cool, but like you do not deserve to have a following. I stand on business with that. They need to do background checks. And I'm honestly too talking more for like pedophiles. Absolutely no way, shape, or form should those motherfuckers have social media. Voluntary manslaughter is just doing something accidentally on purpose, like he did murder, full stop. Sorry, I don't even know what that word means. But I was thinking the same thing, Spooky Miss Luna. I was like, holy shit, how the fuck did he plead down to manslaughter? That shouldn't be allowed. I'm sorry, you pull out a gun and shoot somebody over an argument? Like, there should be no plea deal other than murder. Am I wrong for that? Also, only 8 years in jail? The fuck? All right, guys, let's go to the update. I'm curious. Actually, let's check too. Maybe OP. Oh, wow. She has her whole ass face on this. That's fucking bold, girl, but you do you. Okay, there hasn't been any other posts since this one. Hey, at least you know this is fucking real, though. Update. She's really trying hard to convince me that this guy has been rehabilitated. He's a good man, etc. Okay, that most definitely like 99.99% chance hasn't happened. That being said, I'm sorry, but the chance to take a risk for a rehabilitated person coming into your life is not when you have kids. You cannot take that risk if you have kids. Put yourself in danger, fine, bro. Do I recommend it? No, but like that's fine. You're a big girl. You got to make your own decisions. These are fucking kids. You got to start thinking about what's in their best interest. The sisters talked to the parole officer. We confirmed he's no longer on parole and did the work and followed the rules. Even if the incident never happened, the timeline is super concerning. She thinks she knows him so well because they FaceTime all the time, even though they've met in person once for just one night. That's not enough knowing someone to move them in with your 9-year-old daughter. But on top of that, we called the New Mexico licensing board and he does not have nor qualifies for a paramedic license due to the felony. So either he's lying about what he does for money or she's covering up for him doing something shady. Oh, this whole story's a fucking mess, bro. I mean, listen, I think you need to start collaborating more with the fathers of these children because the fathers need to be like, hey, bro, if you bring this guy into our kid's life, I'm gonna use his past record to try to get full custody of our kids because that's fucking crazy. Listen, if she wants to be like, fuck it, I'm not gonna take care of the kids anymore, I'm gonna take the risk, girl, whatever. You go be in that Netflix documentary. But like, leave the kids out of it, man. Those poor kids, bro. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter that she is not going to marry a billionaire? I, 47 male, have a bit of a problem. I have a daughter, 20 female, and my wife is 46 female. She isn't my daughter's biological mother, but has been in her life since she was 13 years old. Her mother and I divorced when she was 12 due to her alcoholism. For about a year now, my daughter has got it in her head that she'll marry a billionaire and that it will be the only way that she can be happy in this life. I can only speculate that she has gotten this idea from social media. She's not doing great in school at the moment, and all she talks about is marrying a billionaire, how she thinks she can meet one, what type of house they'll have, how she'll be in a private jet, etc. Oh dear Lord. She is trying to take steps to making this happen, which has me worried. I found that she has, for example, spent time in hotel lobbies / bars, having a drink, trying to pick up older guys. Mind you, we do not come from poverty, and she has never experienced financial insecurity, but we're definitely not billionaires. My wife has a brother who is very well off, and my daughter has actively tried to get closer to him and his family in the pursuit of wealth. It got to the point where she ended up sharing selfies from the family house on social media, and now she's not allowed in there anymore due to the violation of their privacy. She has pulled similar stunts with other friends and family who have even a bit of a more lavish lifestyle. She has also tried to message some of my own work associates who are in a more glamorous position at work than I am. And I had to find out from them after they shared what my daughter had been sending them on, oh my God. And I had to find out from them after they shared what my daughter had been sending them on LinkedIn out of all platforms. Bro, sliding in the LinkedIn DMs for a fucking sugar daddy is insane. I don't condone any of this, by the way, but if she just took some of this energy and like put it towards a job, she can do whatever the fuck she wants. Bro, she is cold outreaching for a sugar daddy. Get this woman in sales. She's on that Wolf of Wall Street, pick up the phone and start dialing type shit, but for a sugar daddy. That's insane. Wolf of Wall Street? No, Wolf of Miami. That's where all the sugar babies live. That's so crazy. She had been sending suggestive stuff to them and asking one of them to buy her fancy jewelry. My daughter isn't stupid. She always has done well in school until recently. Her performance is very bad at the moment. She got into a good university and is proficient in multiple languages. She also wrote a book when she was 16 and made it quite successful even. But something has happened that has made her so obsessed with money, and I have no idea what it is. She is temporarily staying with us for some weeks as she's looking for a new apartment, and for the past 4 to 5 days, this entire thing had her so depressed that she hasn't gotten out of her bed and keeps crying out because she doesn't have a billionaire boyfriend slash husband and has to stay in places that are not as glamorous as she'd like. She cries like someone has died, and it sounds like intense grief. Every morning we wake up to her sobbing in her room. Chat, is this grippy sock vacation worthy? I have no other answer. I think this is like unhealthy obsession, some type of like, I don't even know, bro. This is definitely tiny violin worthy. I don't disagree with you, Resilient Sage. I've tried talking to her and have tried the loving approach of comforting her and telling her that one day she'll find someone who loves her as much as I do. It hasn't been good enough, and she'll say nasty things like, yeah, but he'll probably be broke, so I don't care. I then took a more direct approach and told her that there's only a very tiny fraction of the world's population who are billionaires, and most of them tend to marry each other or are married already. So the statistical odds of this billionaire romance happening for her are practically zero. Also, they're probably a bunch of pricks. Like, let's be honest, you guys. There's no way that those billionaires are nice people. There's no way that those billionaires aren't just cheating on their partners all the time. My wife thought I was being an a-hole by being so direct with her, and that I didn't have to ruin it for her like that. She tried defending her by saying that my daughter is still young and that I should allow her to have her fantasies. She's 20. Listen, maybe I'm wrong for this, but I don't think 20 years old is the right time to feed into your child's delusional fantasies, especially when it's this unhealthy, when it's causing you problems in your professional life, in your personal life, and with your relationships with other people. Like, I think this is not a fantasy we should indulge. I just don't agree. Everyone can dream, sure, but the fact that she's already violated the boundaries of multiple people and that the situation is getting so on top of her that it's affecting her academic performance means that something needs to be done. This cannot be healthy in the long term. Plus, her trying to talk too much to older men is just dangerous. And I really worry that she's going to end up hurt. Am I the a-hole for this approach? And then there's an edit. Okay. Wow, there's a lot. Okay, so this post goes a long time. I think I've said my piece on this, you guys. Where this is going based off the paragraph about her crying every single day, this is going to a unalive self path. Like, trying to have foresight here. If this keeps going down the road, like, this is gonna go bad. I think they need to start looking for some psychiatric help here. Also, super random theory. I wonder if the stepmom is driving this theory. You guys have to remember that the wife is a stepmother. I'm just getting a really weird vibe that she's defending this fantasy. I almost wonder if she has something to do with it. I don't know, chat. I kind of want to go to this edit because there's so much to read here. So there are 2 edits on this post, but one of them is an edit slash update, and it's super long. The short edit is, I've reached out to therapists, and I'm also going through my daughter's social media at the moment, which is all public. I'm trying to find any glaring red flags that may put her in danger. We'll update later. Thanks everyone for your suggestions, aside from those who just provided a list of ways to marry rich. I mean, listen, if you want to marry rich, do your thing. Do I think you're probably going to be miserable in the long term? Yeah, but at least you'll have money and you're miserable. I think what's important here, though, is like the billionaire aspect of it is fucking crazy. Because OP's right. Statistically, very unlikely. And then also the part he didn't touch on, they're awful people. That marriage wouldn't be good for your daughter, even if she somehow miraculously made that happen. What happened to love? As someone pointed out, yes, love alone does not pay the bills, but what is so wrong with looking for a partner that has a stable income doing what they love? Stability is not only found in the riches. Why does this person even have to be incredibly rich? Maybe I'm just being a weird old person here, but I'm honestly astounded that this attitude is so common these days. I feel bad for the TikTok generation. I mean, it's always going to exist, right? Like, that's something we have to address. There will always be rich people who are willing to marry people who are pretty much only marrying them because they're rich. That's always gonna be there as like a thing, and like people are always gonna glamorize it, but I think the smart people in life are gonna be able to poke holes in it. Like me and you, the viewer. Like, we know that you're gonna have a lot of money, cool. You're probably gonna have a lot of fucking problems on top of that. And now we have an update more than probably an edit, because this thing is fucking long, bro. It hasn't been many hours since my initial post, but I'm honestly trying to process everything, and I think writing this will help me. It's Sunday, so there's been 0 response from the medical professionals I've contacted. No updates there. If my daughter wants to go to therapy, I will 100% support it and pay for it. Speaking of, many people here have blamed me for enabling my daughter. I am not quite sure how to feel about it yet. I have paid for her studies, her rent, and travel in case she wants to go abroad to see her cousin, who she is close with. in parentheses, and who I believe is an excellent, wonderful role model. She's a successful woman who I think my daughter should definitely look up to. I do not pay for my daughter's luxuries. She has asked me to get her designer things and trips to places like Monaco previously, and I told her that she needs to get a job as a tutor or something similar if she wants fancy things, because she needs to understand the value of money. I have, however, bought her luxuries like an iPhone, a tablet, and a MacBook, but with the condition that she uses them to improve her life, i.e., using them at university to complete assignments. Okay, chat, if I'm being honest, like nothing that I haven't experienced myself. My parents paid for my rent in college. They helped pay for my studies, even though I got a scholarship. They paid for my travel, and they bought me things like iPhones, MacBooks. I never had a tablet that they bought me, I guess. But other than that, I don't think that's uncommon for a parent. Those are good things to give their kids a leg up in life and a leg up in their studies. And honestly, I didn't get the impression that OP had enabled any of this. I think that's a fucking crazy thing to accuse OP of. Like, even me being like, I think a theory that could exist is that this stepmom might have something to do with this. That being said, I'm not accusing her. Well, actually, no, she actually was enabling her by saying, oh, harmless fantasies. But, you know, you can have theories, but to like accuse OP of that is crazy in my opinion. I have some things to share now that may be relevant. One, I did a thorough check of her TikTok and Instagram. She had multiple profiles, but she always followed herself. So I managed to find those. And yes, she had reposted some alarming content from various female influencers. A lot of them, surprisingly, were rather misogynistic, like packaged in a glamorous way. Lots of women saying things like, a rich man will choose a poor but skinny waitress instead of an overweight CEO. She had been actively reposting content of women's shopping hauls of what their rich boyfriend/husband got them. Lots of stuff about how men cannot love and how women should look to get a rich guy. There are some videos she liked to repost in particular where a woman just screams at her camera telling her viewers to wake up and stop dating brokies. Just horrible toxic stuff that will rot your brain. Chicken sandwich, this lady fell down the red pill for women. No, for real, bro. What the fuck? Listen, I think it's like a good joke to be like, you know what? Men suck. Just marry for money. Like, I think it's a funny joke. But like, do I actually think that's what you should do? No. Like, if you marry for money, you're just gonna have problems. Like, I firmly believe that. Yeah, the money will be a good band-aid for you. But at the end of the day, you're gonna look at all your shit and be like, I'm genuinely unhappy and desire real love in my life. She also had posts of her own from expensive restaurants, among other places, where I can only assume guys had taken her out on dates. And I don't mean a 60 euro steakhouse. I mean restaurants where they serve 11-course meals and can cost at least 200 euros per person. As she's not employed, I know for sure she's not paying for that herself. She also had a post where she explained, alarmingly, that women who want a handsome guy are trashy because real high value, as she called it, women go for a man's resources, not looks. It was absolutely bizarre seeing her talk like that. Oh, that's so disgusting, bro. You know what, chat? The only thing I'll say is these women are so fucking easy to pick out. Like, oh, you mean the super Republican woman is just trying to use me for my money? Oh my God, bro. There's no saving her. I think this is one of those things where, like, don't get me wrong, try to get your daughter help if you can. But at the end of the day, if this is her philosophy, she's not going to change her mind. No amount of you talking to her is going to change her perspective on life, which is the only avenue for happiness in my life is to find a rich man and use him for his money. Like, that has been concreted in her stupid 20-year-old brain. And all you can do is hope that she is going to get out of that mindset. And when she does, you're there for her and still have a relationship with her. She's still pretty young though. Yeah, but I mean, like, there's no talking sense into her. Don't get me wrong. I think it's not completely hopeless, but like you going up to her and being like, hey, what you're consuming is wrong. These sources of content, like what they do is they alienate people. They go, hey, this is how you need to think. And anybody else who thinks differently from you is an enemy. That's what these things do. They're like, oh, this person wants you to have a life not dependent on a man. They don't want the best for you. They're toxic. They're evil. It's like a cult, but different. I think the red pill alpha male shit, like I think that's a cult. Like 30 to 50 years from now, I guarantee people are going to classify that as cults. Then there was something even more alarming. She had written a post that implied she subscribed to some course that is supposed to make her rich and famous? Some content creator club. Basically, as I understood it, she had paid 500 euros out of her savings, the money I'd given her, to some Russian creator whose entire online persona revolves around provider men and her glow up. The 500 euros went to coaching sessions with said creator, where she was teaching my daughter the tricks to make money on social media. It sounded like a giant scam in all honesty. The woman seemed rather crappy as well. proudly accepting big amounts of money from desperate girls who wanted to be famous/rich. How do I know this? My daughter had several posts about it that were all set to public, in parentheses, which is no longer the case, as I've asked her to make her social media private, which she has thankfully agreed to. Anyway, then came the talk. I finally spoke to my daughter. I told her that first and foremost, she's an adult and gets to make adult choices, and whatever she does and whoever she dates is up to her. That said, I told her that I was concerned about her. I tried to gently ask what kind of guys she goes on dates with, and that of course she doesn't have to tell me, but if we have an open dialogue, I think it would make both of us feel better. She did end up admitting that she goes out with much older guys who are between 30 and 60 years old. As a dad, as much as I felt grossed out, I wanted to make her feel safe to tell me, as if anything ever happens, she can come to me. All right, green flag OP, holy shit. I asked her why she's so keen on having a much older, rich guy, and what that may bring in her life that she doesn't already have. She just mentioned the private jet, shopping trips, a big house. I told her that while all those things certainly can be fun, it's not worth risking her autonomy and education for that stuff, particularly because the chance that she'll end up with someone who will financially abuse her is quite high. Well, she sort of just thought she's too smart to be taken advantage of. Go figure. I brought up a lot of bad things that can happen and asked if she had read anything about the Epstein files. She hadn't. I told her that there are numerous of reports of women and girls ending up in really bad situations. It went right over her head as well. I then asked why she had been sobbing, if she feels depressed, etc., and she finally broke down in tears again. I asked if something had happened that she didn't want to tell me about, and she said yes. I froze, I thought of the worst that a dad can think of, and contemplated to go and grab a baseball bat. But nope, it was something different. She sobbed for a good 15 minutes without being able to say a word, but I patiently waited until she could. She told me that around a year ago, her and her friend snuck into a party in one of those fancy hotels. Her friend apparently is also into the whole provider man dating trend. They had fun, had some food and drinks there, and according to my daughter, all the men were only into her friend. And a guy she had been eyeing for the whole night ended up asking for her friend's number instead. This then repeated multiple times over several months, where her friend would get approached instead of her. Then a little later, the girls found out that there was actually some guy who was a few years older at the university in their program who actually was the son of a multi-millionaire. It became a huge fight between my daughter and her friend, where they began both trying to get the guy. This girl, who my daughter thought was her friend, started then spreading nasty rumors about my daughter and also tried sabotaging her weight loss, as my daughter had always struggled with her weight. Her now former friend is now in a serious relationship with this guy, and as a result, my daughter feels like she was robbed of a potentially good future with him. She also said that she feels so jealous all the time of her friend that it's consuming her. Oh my gosh. I mean, definitely better than what we were all thinking happened and what OP thought was happening, but oh, yikes. I was a bit confused, that was all. I even asked my daughter multiple times that this was all that happened and that no one has ever done anything to her against her consent, but no, that wasn't the case. She even went as far as to tell me that she's not even active, if you know what I mean. Sure, bullying can be traumatic, but my daughter's reaction still seems indicative of something else. She wants to continue at university and has told me she will try again to pass some of the courses she hasn't passed yet, but doesn't seem to take it as seriously as she possibly could. So all in all, not sure where to go from here. My daughter has thankfully agreed to speak to a therapist, so that's good news. That's all for now. Oh my God, that's a saving grace right there. Holy shit. First off, OP is an incredible communicator. I strive to be that good of a communicator if I decide to have kids, because holy fuck, he handled that very, very well. I almost thought he was gonna screw it up when he was like, really? That's all? But it didn't sound like that's what he said. But I was like, bro, I hope you didn't say that out loud. That would have been the worst thing you possibly could have done. Honestly, y'all, this is as best as it can be, I think, right now. I think your daughter is dealing with kind of like normal shit that like a lot of people have had to deal with in their lives, which is like not feeling as attractive as they wish they could be and dealing with a shitty friend. I think it's just manifesting in the worst way possible. I think if your daughter goes to a therapist and that daughter is able to help them get to a point where, like, to me, the conclusion is, hey, you're hanging out with these women and these women are awful people. Like this provider woman friend that you had was a fucking terrible person. Is that the type of person that you want to become? And the answer is clearly no. I think that's the play for digging your daughter out of this absolutely fucking evil situation that she's in. Also, from your update, it doesn't sound like she's as far down the hole as I thought she was. It sounds like she probably is already having doubts about this. She just now needs the handholding that you and a therapist can provide to start leading her down the path to like get out of this toxic sugar baby mentality that she has been previously brainwashed into. Hold on, I'm gonna check really quick too, see if there's any good comments. Oh, account has been banned. Rude. Shit, I'm kind of sad that they got banned because I want updates on this, bro. Hello, man. He said you're still streaming, Dad? What the fuck? I want updates on this story. Because don't get me wrong, I think on both sides, y'all should aim not to marry rich, but marry someone successful and passionate about what they're doing. I think if your partner is baseline responsible financially and they care about what they're doing, I think that's so important. I think that bleeds into relationships, right? Like if you hate your job and your job makes you miserable, that misery is going to bleed into your relationship. I would encourage that out of any of y'all. And like, yeah, being financially stable with your partner is nice. And like, I do think that's maybe something that you should consider when you're evaluating relationships. Do I think that should be the foundation that your relationship is built on? Absolutely not. That's a recipe for disaster. That's going to put you in very tough situations. My husband's family has been pressuring him to contribute either financially or with time to his mother's care. I told him if he does, we are getting a divorce. Am I the a-hole? I feel like this could go either way, chat. I know it sounds harsh, but we just cannot afford to do so. We have 2 children. Our youngest is non-verbal. I no longer work due to our youngest. My husband already does so much, he cannot afford to give up his time, and our budget is extremely tight. We are in the process of downsizing, which is unfortunate, but we cannot afford to live where we are on a single income. His mother has no money. Their dad blew all of his money before he passed on alternative medical treatments for his cancer. He smoked multi-packs of cigarettes a day and was shocked he ended up how he did. She is not doing well herself, but just like most, they have an extremely negative stigma regarding nursing homes. I know they are not the best of places, but putting your family in debt is no better. His siblings are using credit, taking out loans and stuff to provide care, keeping her in her apartment/area. She is mild to moderate stage of dementia. She knows her apartment and area well, but she only manages because my brother and sister-in-law are going heavily into debt providing the care. Yeah, this family's fucked. This is the real American dream, so to speak. Like, none of this should be happening. They should have support for their nonverbal child. Oh, wait, chat. Do you think nonverbal means that the child just hasn't grown up to a point where they are verbal? Or nonverbal is like an autism thing? Because I was thinking of it as an autism thing. Yeah, typically an autism thing. Okay, that's what I was thinking too. If their youngest has autism, they should be getting support for that. It sucks that their dad had to blow all of his money on medical treatments for his cancer, even though smoking cigarettes his whole life probably didn't help with that. But like still, like all of this is just the horrifying facts of what it's like when you dig yourself a hole in America. They keep pushing my husband to do more. He helps how he can. He covers a portion of the rent and pays for groceries from time to time. Compared to what they do, that is not much, but we are strapped ourselves. My husband wants to do Uber on the side after work and on the weekends, and I told him that is nuts. His family needs to understand that they have alternatives. They may not like it, but sooner or later she will end up in a home. What they are doing is far from sustainable. I told my husband if he caves and gives up more money, I will have no choice but to file for divorce. We cannot afford doing that without going into debt ourselves or giving up the limited time he has to be with his family already to work Uber. We have looked into me going back to work, but with the level of care our child needs, it is not exactly a viable option. God damn, bro. Talk about a shitty hand of cards. As much as I don't want to rag on OP's husband for just like wanting to help his mother, I think OP just has such a good point. They don't have room in their budget. They need to be putting all of their money to their immediate family, and he needs to be able to spend time with his kids and help OP with their autistic kid. That's absolutely tough to say, but I think OP is right. Now, here's what I will say, and you guys could probably elaborate more in chat because I actually don't know how this would play out. Would divorce make the situation better? Like, that's my only thing here. I genuinely think divorce would make things insanely harder because like OP can't work. She's gonna have to completely rely on the child support to pay for everything in her life, but already the husband doesn't make any money and she doesn't have a direct say on like how much of the child support she'll get, even if the husband will pay child support. I just don't think that's the answer. At least the answer that like digs them out of any sort of hole. They could qualify for Medicaid if separated. Well, to be honest, y'all, isn't that shit getting cut in this country? Like, I don't know. If that's true, that's great. But like, I'm guessing that would take a really long time, and also not a great time to rely on Medicaid. Oh, she might be able to get social assistance. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, but the lawyer costs. Don't get me wrong, I understand why she kind of has to pull this card, but like low key, is this card worth pulling? Like, oh God. For everyone's sake, let the mom go to a home. I agree. I really do think the a-holes here are the siblings. Like, even the mom's not really an a-hole, right? She has dementia. Like, when you get old, you're gonna have to rely on people to like make decisions for you. It's really just the siblings. Like, I think the siblings need to hear when their brother is like, hey, I want to contribute as much as I can, but like, I have an autistic kid, which tightens our budget, and I need to be spending time with my family taking care of this kid. Like, if anything, he needs to be the advocate, not for I need to cave to them, but I need y'all to put our mom in a home so it takes some burden off our backs. Even that though, like, isn't that expensive though? God, what just a shit situation, man. Let me check if there's any updates here. OP did reply to quite a bit of comments, but it's more just them like justifying or like explaining that they don't want to go into debt. But that seems to be OP's main thing, is they're like, divorce will spare me from debt he will put us in, which I mean, fair, but I guess I would have to know more about OP's situation. Like, if OP's tight with their parents and can move in with their parents, I guess that would maybe like relieve some of the financial burden that would come from going through a divorce. But also, if OP has a good relationship with their parents, why can't they get their parents to help with the kids and free up their time so that the husband can start doing Uber and make a little bit of extra money to help pay for his mother? I feel like I might need to know more about OP's situation. Like, we need an edit. I actually want to read a comment here because this is the top comment and it actually doesn't give a verdict. It gives some advice. Commenter says, call a social worker for your mother-in-law and your son. Figure out what programs might be available for respite care or care homes. It's fine for people to not want to go into a home, but it's not terribly realistic to expect your kids to provide round-the-clock care if you need it, particularly with dementia patients. Okay, and then a lot of people just confirming that this is the answer. No, this is how I felt. This is the second top comment. Sounds like an all-around crap situation with no good solutions. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the social worker will help relieve some of the stress, but by God, I really don't know if there's any shittier hand you could be dealt there. Am I the a-hole for choosing my job over my girlfriend? So basically, I, 26 male, broke up with my girlfriend, 21 female, because she gave me an ultimatum to leave my current job if I wanted to stay with her. I mean, bro, looking at those ages, you probably should have broken up anyways. I work on an oil rig in the North Sea and rotation. 2 weeks of work and then 4 weeks at home. I make great money and I have risen to a foreman there. And the company I work for wants to invest money in me to expand my qualifications. Basically, I really like the job and I have a lot of perks and benefits. My girlfriend told me that she can't handle being by herself these 2 weeks while I'm at the sea. She told me she feels lonely and that it is too hard for her. All right, chat. She probably has like some sort of mental health issue happening or something like that. But like, also, girl, you gotta figure out how to be able to be by yourself for 2 weeks. Like, here's the thing, y'all. We gotta remember she's only 21. So like, I get it. She's building up to becoming an actual adult right now. But like, that's crazy. Like, when I was 21, I could have gone 2 weeks without my partner. Like, you just hang out with your friends. It's never been easier to stay in contact with the people you love. Like, bro, you can't last 2 weeks. I get that because I have been missing her too during that time, but it isn't really my problem to deal with. In my opinion, that is something she has to work through herself. So she wanted me to leave my current job and find something in the town we live in. I told her that there's no way that I will leave that job because it is too good to pass up, and there is no chance I would find another job that would pay at least half of what I earn now. So I chose to break up with her because she wouldn't back down with that demand. Am I the a-hole? I wanted to clarify that I called her daily after my shift ended, always spent as much time as possible together while I was home, and I've always been supportive. I've experienced something like this. Like, I've dated someone who's like 4 years younger than me or something like that, and like, when you're this young, this shit just doesn't work. You guys are in such different parts of your lives. It just does not make sense for y'all to be together anyways. Yeah, she's too young to cope well. Exactly, bro. She's literally still trying to figure out how to like live life. How can she demand something like that of you when like she has no real world experience, my guy? They're both more idiots than assholes. They are kind of idiots, bro. Yo, I'm saying this from experience. I think I was like 25, 26 and this girl was 22, 23. Like, I like briefly took her out on a couple of dates and like we entertained dating, but then I was like, oh my God, bro, like you're just in a different stage of life than me. Like, you just graduated and I'm like established and like doing my thing. Like, that age gap was like too far from each other in general. Anything outside of that is just like ridiculous until you get to the age of 25. You're just in such insanely different mindsets. It's like impossible possible for you to coexist in a healthy way. I will say that you can have younger 20s and older 20s work out, but it's exceedingly rare. Every once in a while, I think there are people who can make it work, but like, to be completely honest, y'all, I see it working more with an older woman, younger man, because typically we hear about older men taking advantage of younger women. There are some edits on this. Edit 1. A few things I wanted to say. We live in a small town, but there's plenty to do. Besides, I always encouraged her to find hobbies or go out with friends, and I even went to therapy to fix my trust issues and jealousy, so I wouldn't overthink and worry. All right, listen, like I said, not a fan of the 26-year-old dating a 21-year-old, but like, I'm not seeing any major red flags. Like, even him being like, okay, this is very unhealthy in a relationship, I need to break it off. I mean, that's the mature thing to do. At least he didn't try to like gaslight her or isolate her more. Like, he wants her to go and do things. So like Chicken Sandwich said, sometimes it works, very, very rarely, but like, it does work every once in a while. Maybe this is the case. The funny thing is that when we started dating, I was gone for 4 to 6 weeks at a time, and I worked my ass off to get 2 weeks of work rotation. So I feel a little bit unappreciated and disappointed. Besides that, there was just a shadow of a doubt if I did the right thing. That's why I posted here in the first place. So like I said, I really appreciate the support from all of y'all. Edit 2. A lot of people are saying I'm being cold for saying that she has to deal with it on her own. I don't think you're cold. I think that's just how fucking life works, bro. You gotta deal with shit on your own, bro. Like, dead ass, I could not be with somebody who couldn't just like figure shit out. Go find friends to entertain yourself for 2 weeks. If you can't do that, you need to look internally. I didn't leave her because of that, but because of the ultimatum. I was always open to help with her struggles, and I tried to do everything I could to make her feel less lonely, but in the end, she was certain she was feeling that way because of my absence. No place for talk or understanding. I mean, that's just so unhealthy, man. Not only relying on one person being there all the time for you to not feel a certain way, but then on top of that, using that as a way to manipulate and change their life is fucking crazy. Like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but if that is your relationship with your partner, you need to get out. That is so ungodly unhealthy, bro. We do not fuck with that in the big year of 2026. Am I the a-hole for saying I don't give a fuck about my roommate's baby? All right, coming out strong. I'm 27 female, and I have a roommate 25 female. Originally, it was me and my roommate, but she got pregnant by her boyfriend, causing her boyfriend to move in. At first, it wasn't a big deal. He wasn't loud, and my roommate didn't really bother me. But as the months passed and she got more pregnant, she started becoming more entitled and rude. For example, she would constantly steal my food, and when I tried to confront her about it, she would play the pregnancy cravings card. But the day that finally made me snap was the day I brought home a small personal pumpkin pie. I wrote my name on the box and put it in the fridge. Later, when I went to get some, she was literally standing there eating my pie. Honestly, I wouldn't have cared if she only took a slice, but this bitch was literally eating the whole thing. I was fed up with her always eating my food, so I got mad and I yelled at her. I asked her why she was eating my pumpkin pie knowing that it wasn't for her. She started crying and said she's pregnant and she can't help that the baby was craving pumpkin pie. Okay, bitch, but like, ask, bro. In a fit of rage, I yelled at her and said I don't give one fuck about your dumbass baby. Over pie is insane. Why is the baby catching strays? You don't know if this baby's dumb or not yet. This baby could come out fucking Einstein reincarnated, bro. That baby just pops out of the womb and 18 years later fucking cures cancer and is like, fuck that bitch who called me dumb in the womb. She gasped dramatically, like I just said something world-shattering, and she ran off to tell her boyfriend what I said. Later, he called me a bitch for yelling at a pregnant woman who can't control her craving. So am I the a-hole for saying I don't give a fuck about my roommate's baby? I don't think OP is the a-hole for saying something to the roommate, because I think that's important. And the roommate can't be playing the, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm the victim card, and I get to do whatever I want, because I think that's stupid. Like, don't get me wrong, cater to pregnant people and like help them as much as you can, but like at the same time, they need to be respectful, and being pregnant is not an excuse. That being said, I'm more kind of on the wavelength of like, everyone sucks here. But like, everyone sucks here because they're not making efforts to figure out how to live together productively when their circumstances have drastically changed. Number one, there's a baby on the way. And number two, the boyfriend moved in. So like, there needs to be different dynamics, and they need to talk about those different dynamics and figure out how they're going to operate within them. And it just seems like you're all bad roommates. Like, your guys' communication is bad. Like, don't get me wrong, I think you need to communicate, hey, I don't like it when you eat my food, but the best way to do that isn't by screaming at them and saying, I don't don't give a fuck about your dumbass baby. I think that is just not how roommates coexist together well. Now, if like you had communicated beforehand, like this is how we're gonna operate while you're pregnant or after the baby is born, and like even though you guys set that up, she was still breaking your rules, then maybe I'll be like, okay, saying that you don't give a fuck about the dumbass baby is maybe merited. But like until that happens, I really do want to go with everyone sucks. They need their own place, for real. I don't think you have to get your own place, but like there at least needs to be a change within the current living space, right? The roommate and the boyfriend are acting entitled just because she's having a cum trophy. I don't necessarily disagree with that, Resilient Sage. I'm guessing that's what's happening here. Like I said, y'all, like if somebody's pregnant, I think you should maybe bend a little bit over backwards to help them. But that doesn't mean that you bend all the way backwards so that your fucking back breaks. Ooh, is the boyfriend not helping? Why can't he help his girlfriend get what she's craving? That's actually kind of a good point. But also, Cross, I think it goes back around to like the whole group. Like let's say the roommate opens the fridge and she sees this pumpkin pie and it has her roommate's name on it. She goes, I want to eat this pie right now, super bad. The first thing you should do is go to your roommate, because it doesn't sound like she wasn't there. Go to your roommate and be like, hey, the baby is craving this pumpkin pie. Can I or my boyfriend go get you another pumpkin pie? Like that's how you deal with that. You go to them and you ask. I'm curious what the comments are saying on this one, chat. Let's go look at it. Okay, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. Saying that the boyfriend can go grab stuff that she's craving. Causing her boyfriend to move in. Nope, I would have been done there. Yeah, that is kind of crazy to me. I mean, we'd need more information, but like, why didn't the roommate move in with the boyfriend? Like, why did it have to be that case? This might be dumb, but when a guy moves into a girl's space, I think it's just like a bigger deal and it changes more things than if a girl moves into a guy's space. That might just be my inner man hater, but like, I just feel like it's so crazy for a girl to like go from just having a girl roommate to now a girl and guy roommate. Okay, pretty much everyone in the comments is saying not the a-hole. Oh, OP clarified in a comment, no, her boyfriend pays no rent. Oh, this woman got fucking impregnated by a bum. Oh, he's a fucking loser. Oh, shit, man. That poor baby, man. Like, oh, I've said it once, so I'll say it again. Why have kids at 25? Figure your shit out. Please, wear a condom, please. Get on birth control. I'm begging. Am I the a-hole for not feeling a shred of guilt whenever I out my husband's ex-wife? I live in a very conservative town in Texas where the Southern Baptist Church is the most powerful organization due to the sheer number of congregations and congregates. Ew, get out. Why the fuck would you live there? My husband's ex-wife is a hometown girl who was born and raised here. Her dad is a church elder at one of the biggest churches in our area. In parentheses, pretty close to a mega church, but we aren't quite big enough population-wise to cross that threshold. Oh, so her dad touches kids. I had to make the joke. They all do it, bro. You can't convince me otherwise. She leads one of the single mom support groups at that church and is the school counselor at a local school, as well as being a licensed LPC. Chat, what's a licensed LPC? Can someone let me know? Licensed professional counselor? Wait, hold on. You guys are telling me that the counselors at churches are actually licensed people? Bro, I just thought they did that. Like, oh yeah, talk to our fucking counselor. She's just some woman who volunteered. You're telling me they have legit people who are full-time there to counsel you and being more brainwashed? Not all are. Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, that's fucking crazy, bro. Low-key, chat, that would be a really funny video to like troll one of them. What if I like recorded a video where I like secretly was recording a session where I'm like, yeah, like I really want to fuck grandmas. Like I can't control myself, bro. I just be coming to church and like I get a whiff of that granny punani and it makes me sin. I can't, bro. I'm too much of a giggly boy to pull that shit off. But like, I need like one of those prank YouTubers, not like one of those like shitty alpha male ones, but like a good person prank YouTuber to fucking pull that shit. That would be so funny. Sounds like a great person, right? I know a lot of people think she is just so nice. We were able to get custody of my stepson because her father held him down on a family vacation and was punching him because he didn't want to unload the entire family's luggage by himself. Oh yeah, that dude definitely touches kids. It was a joke before, but now it is an accusation. Guests at the hotel called the cops. He reached out to us begging us to come get him because he was terrified. Our lawyer told us not to go because we would be charged with kidnapping across state lines. As soon as they got back to Texas, she dropped him off and kept their daughter for the rest of spring break. We got a restraining order against Grandpa and full custody of my stepson. Come to find out, he had been cutting for 2 years and was suicidal when we got him. And she knew it, but had him hide it from us. When he moved in, I was helping him unpack and realized that she had not bought him clothes in 2 years. He was a men's medium and he was wearing kids large. I had been asking why his clothes were all too little, but I kept getting brushed aside, especially since she was getting $2,000 a month for child support and lives for free in one of the houses her parents own. Now I knew. We bought him a new wardrobe, and of course, Grandpa is a church elder with no consequences. Oh, what's new? Shitty mega churches doing shitty things. Oh, who could have predicted that? Lo and behold, they're all greedy ways for people to get money tax-free and be awful people. Bro, this is why, like, I just don't fuck with religion. Like, this is what you're associating with. You're associating with these motherfuckers doing evil shit. I'm sorry, bro, sue me. I have a problem with associating with, like, evil fucking people. My bad. A few months after he moved in, we found out that she had told the kids that her new boyfriend had gone to jail for drugs for 15 years. We were extremely concerned about this as he was frequently around the kids and spends the night at her house while the kids are there. My husband reached out to her asking for more information. He clarified he didn't care about her personal life, but would she please let him know the name of the man and the nature of the charges? She refused to respond for weeks and finally just said she prioritizes the safety of the kids and no other information. Okay, clearly fucking not if you're dating a guy who went to jail. Also, chat, am I tripping? Is drugs for 15 years normal? I feel like I've heard of like way lesser sentences, like 2 to 3 years. Like, girl has to be fucking lying, right? 15 years for drugs? Oh, it is common. Damn, didn't know that. I was like, she's totally lying. It's 15 years for something else, but y'all are educating me. I appreciate it. In June, we discovered he is actually a registered sex offender for a first-degree felony for aggravated sexual assault and was sentenced to 35 years for committing violent R-word. He had just been paroled after serving 18 years and had only been free a few months before they met, and he was introduced to the kids. Oh, why are these people allowed to have kids, bro? Like, I know we can't castrate this woman, but maybe sterilize? Sterilize this woman and castrate this man? We should definitely castrate the sex offender for sure. But like, sterilize her. Why are you allowed to have kids, bro? Needless to say, we took her right back to court. She does not see my stepson. In parentheses, he hasn't been to her house in almost a year, and she refuses to come see him. Wow. W, mom. Fuck, bro. That was sarcastic, by the way. And has told him things like he's trying to destroy her relationship and he's destroying their family and ruining his sister's life. She's constantly telling my stepdaughter that we're lying about everything to try to make life harder for her, and that the whole thing about the boyfriend going to prison for R-word is a lie. Wait, I'm confused. I thought the way that OP was writing the story, this daughter wasn't related to OP's husband, but now it sounds like they are. Wait, like that's crazy. How did you not get full custody of both the kids after you were like, hey bro, this grandpa of the other parent beats one of the kids? He probably beats both of the kids? Like, oh my God. Like, Texas isn't real. Texas is truly just a lawless land where they don't give a shit about anybody except for lining the pockets of rich people. You can't convince me otherwise. The kids are teenagers and we showed them the state sex offender registry because we knew she would try to manipulate my stepdaughter into agreeing to be around the sex offender. Now, every time someone in town tells me about how nice she is, I just say things like, no, she's not. She's a manipulative liar who repeatedly exposed her kids to a R-word-ist. Another time, the school nurse asked me how my stepson was doing. I told her he's doing great. In parentheses, he's had a lot of therapy. Then she realized I wasn't his bio mom and apologized, saying she shouldn't have asked me. I told her point blank that mom wouldn't know how he's doing. She lost custody of him a year ago and is about to lose custody of her daughter too. In parentheses, we were still in the legal battle. I'm worried that I should just keep my mouth shut, but the rage I feel every time I encounter someone who thinks she's just this wonderful Christian woman is indescribable. My husband thinks I shouldn't say anything because it's making me look bad and making her look like the victim. I'm sorry. Is your husband dumb? If somebody overshared to me that like their partner's ex-wife was an R-word sympathizer and my reaction was, man, that wife's the victim. Bro, put a fucking bullet in my brain and any other stupid human that thinks that way. Cause what the fuck? No, bro. Like normalize more public shaming. I know in this small town, everybody knows each other. Bro, you share this shit, it spreads like wildfire. You're doing a public service by making this shit more more public. We need to normalize public shame. Fuck it, bro. Make a social media post about it. Make that shit go viral. Let a TikToker run with that shit, man. Whatever ruins this ex-wife's life, I am on board. Where do I donate to the GoFundMe? Am I the a-hole because I can't keep my mouth shut? Edit, we won the custody battle last summer. We never talk about this in front of the kids. Edit 2, I had the conversation with the school nurse last year, and I do think the ones suggesting therapy are right. I get so angry every time she does something to hurt the kids, I can't sleep for days. Like, honestly, girl, if you didn't get angry, okay, well, maybe the not being able to sleep for days might not be super healthy, but like, this is how any person should react to a kid in their life being exposed to a sex offender by somebody who should be a mature, trusted adult and is just too stupid to not be. Nah, bro. Don't get me wrong. I think therapy might be helpful to like contain this anger, but like, don't ever doubt that your anger isn't valid here. If you aren't angry, that's more of a red flag. I'm angry, and you're just a stranger on the internet. Anytime the kids come to me for help, I'm so deeply affected, I can't think about anything else. The anger I'm feeling is not healthy. Yeah, definitely get therapy for that. But holy shit, bro. Girl, how do I fucking help you buy a billboard? Girl, if you see this video, you reach out to me right now. I will fucking figure out a way to help you fund a billboard in your town that says, ex-wife's name, let a pedophile hang out with 2 kids. And by the way, they're connected to this mega church. If you associate with them, you're a bad person. Sponsored by the Sarby Foundation for calling people the fuck out for being bad people. Private message to the OP. I could do that, actually. Hey, you trying to get a billboard? That would actually go so hard, low-key. To be fair, I actually do mean that. But like low-key, I don't know if a billboard company would put that on a billboard. Like billboards have regulations. Although I don't know how that would work. Like maybe you could pay somebody who just has like land on a popular highway to put up a banner. Oh, chat, I have ideas. That would actually be really funny. Just a big ass billboard for like a month. Oh shit, chat, we're getting sued for sure. Could put his QR code leading to a Google Doc. Oh, that's a good point. I bet you could do that, honestly. Yeah, it could be super ominous. It could be like, your town is filled with shady people. Read this. I just know if I'm in a situation like this, I'm getting sued for sure. I would just be a fucking asshole. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to reconcile with my girlfriend after she went no contact when I needed her support? So I, 42 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 38 female, for just under 18 months now. She has 2 boys, 8 and 5. She's separated from her ex and they're going through a divorce. It's a very bitter one and she's really struggling with him. Hey buddy, I know what that means. The boy makes his appearance. What a prime time for you to show up. Right when I start reading. Like literally the first paragraph, my guy. Oh, don't show them your butthole. Save that for the only pause. Oh, guys, he's going to enjoy the sun. In February, I was accused of sexually assaulting a kid at my karate class. Holy shit. I was suspended from the class and told to keep away, interviewed by the police, and essentially told I'm under investigation. As soon as my girlfriend found out, she said as much as she loves me and believes me, she can't support me as her ex would use it as ammunition and would try to get full custody, so she has to go no contact while I'm being investigated. And that was it. She blocked my number, email, social media, etc. It was like she didn't exist. Chat, am I wrong? Or is that like 100% the right move? Who just throws an accusation at someone like that? Exactly. And then you're telling me the girlfriend not only has to think about her 8 and 5-year-old that you've been around and keeping them safe regardless of the accusations, but then also she is correct. Like this is ammunition for her ex to use in the divorce. Good for her. She has her priorities. I agree. Last week, I was told the investigation has been dropped and I'm innocent just like that. I found out that apparently the kid admitted it wasn't me, but another guy at the class, and he made her say it was me, and she did. The karate organization told me I'm free to come back and train, and I told them to fuck off. I've canceled my classes and burnt my suit, kit, everything. I've taken myself out of the group and blocked everyone from there. I told my parents as soon as I found out and they were chuffed for me. I've never seen that word before. Chuffed? Very pleased. It's British. Okay. I should have fucking known. Y'all got some weird words over there. They've been the only supportive people in my life. My mom asked me what I'm doing about my girlfriend/ex, and I told her I don't even want to think about her yet. She can wait. I could tell she didn't agree, but thought she accepted it. A couple days ago, I saw I'd been unblocked, and she tried to message me, saying that she heard my good news from my parents and wants to meet so we can talk and pick up where we left off. I was so annoyed. I just blocked her myself without even saying anything. She since tried to get in touch with my parents, asking if I've seen her message, and asked my mom if I could reply to her. I told my mom basically she can wait. I'm treating her like she treated me until I can be bothered to reply. And I told my mom I'm not happy with her. She shouldn't have done that. It led to a massive argument, and I've told my mom I don't want to hear from her or my dad for a bit. OP's relationships and how he handles conflict is a red flag to me. He seems very I'm right, you're wrong minded about all the situations being explained in this story. I briefly unblocked my girlfriend to tell her I don't want any contact for now, and if she tries to get in touch again, I might report her for harassment. My family has heard about my argument with my parents and are trying to get me to see sense and talk to my parents and reconcile with my girlfriend. I'm trying to ignore them. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to reconcile after she binned me off? Edit tab, the karate isn't my job. I'm sick of people assuming it was. It was a hobby I paid to do, and now I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not going. Simple as that. I don't know where you all live, where it's a paid job, but it isn't here. Someone's got to pay you to teach it, right? That's what I thought too. I thought he was saying he was a teacher. I think OP's the a-hole for not understanding that why his girlfriend left was the right thing to do. I'm sorry, not only should she probably play it safe and keep her kids safe from a guy who's been accused of something like that. Don't get me wrong, if it was a false accusation, that sucks and I feel bad and like that shouldn't happen to people, but like she made the right move there by protecting her kids and not giving her ex any ammunition in the divorce. And if he can't see that, I think that's a him problem. Do I think that he should necessarily get back together with her if he holds this resentment? No. I also think he probably needs to be in some sort of therapy to like talk through this situation because it's not normal and he's definitely been traumatized by it. Yeah, no, Luke, this is what I agree with. This might be a hot take, but to be honest, I can see both sides. I can understand why he's hurt, but it's obvious that the girlfriend's biggest concern was her kids, which is how it should have been. Just an all-around shit situation, I think. I agree with you, but the problem is he doesn't understand that what his girlfriend did was the right move. He thinks that his girlfriend should have just been there for him. I don't agree with that. Don't get me wrong. I can understand being hurt by it, but you can be hurt by something and understand why it happened and like agree with it happening. I also am not super happy about the parents trying to intervene. Like at the end of the day, it's not up to them to put their son back together with this person if the son doesn't want to be with her. That's the other part. I understand he can feel sad or betrayed or whatever, but at the same time be like, okay, well, she did the right move. It feels like everybody isn't like empathizing with one another. OP isn't empathizing with his ex-girlfriend. The parents aren't empathizing with OP. It's just like a whole mess, bro. Top comment. Both no a-holes here and not the a-hole. Your ex had to do what she did for her kid's custody, but her coming back as if nothing happened was shitty. I would also recommend you look into another martial arts studio focused on adults. You don't have to work with kids ever again. Honestly, I wouldn't ever work in a youth program if I didn't have kids involved with that program. Her coming back as if nothing happened was shitty. I'm trying to decide if I think that the way she approached this was shitty. She tried to message me saying she heard my good news from my parents and wants to meet so we can talk and pick up where we left off. I don't know. I think it's so vague. The only part I really don't like is the pick up where we left off, because that implies that she's like, oh yeah, surely this wasn't a big deal and I'm just assuming that he wants to be back with me. I don't know though, man. I think if someone in your life gets accused of sexually assaulting a child and you have children that are under your care, it is your responsibility to cut ties with them no matter what the truth is. Like if they get accused of it and the accusations are getting taken seriously, I think you cut them off. Don't get me wrong, she did what was right for her divorce, but she also did what's right for her kids. So I don't know, man. This doesn't seem like something you come back from, just move on. Yeah, therapy and everybody go their separate ways. Even if the case is dropped, there will probably always be someone who thinks it's true. That's very true, Anna. I don't know, Kat. I think that's a little unfair. OP was not someone she trusted enough to stand beside. I don't think it's a trust thing. Like, you can trust someone eternally, but if they get one of those accusations, like, even if you think there's no way this person could do it, you can't run the risk that your judgment of that person isn't wrong when there are kids involved. Like, I think it's unfair to be like, oh, well, clearly OP wasn't to be trusted. Because, like, no, I don't think so. I mean, I think this is like one of those good stories where it's important to talk about this stuff. Like, if anybody finds themselves in this situation where like the partner they're dating gets accused of something and they have kids underneath them, like, I do think what the girlfriend did here is correct. If this situation was something that one of my friends was dealing with in real life, I would tell them to do what the girlfriend did. Am I the a-hole for not getting rid of my dog? I, 30 male, recently got married to my wife, 27 female. I have a dog that is 5 years old and have had him since he was a puppy. She also has a dog as well. My wife and I did not live together before getting married, although she stayed at my house most of the week before we did. She recently told me that she thinks my dog's dander and hair is affecting her asthma and wants me to get rid of the dog. I do believe her, and I am concerned for her health, but my problem is she did not tell me this way before. I have removed my dog from entering our bedroom or sleeping in our bed. I'm giving him fish oil, brushing him daily, and plan to give him a bath at least every other week. We have an air purifier in our room that has a HEPA filter for pet dander. We vacuumed the whole house, including our bedroom, and washed the sheets to get rid of the hair and dander in the bedroom. I mean, this was your first mistake, dog. The only reason I could think that anybody would do this is if you are religious, and just another reason I think religion is dumb. Like, it literally sets people up in the worst way possible to start their marriage off on a bad foot. Like, they would have figured this out so much easier if they just lived together beforehand. It has been less than a week, and she hasn't even given it a chance to start working. When she would stay over at my house before we married, my dog would sleep in our bed and right next to her. And she didn't voice her concern once then. But now she's completely flipped the script and isn't giving me any time or patience to combat the issue without getting rid of my dog. Okay, wait, huge red flag. What the fuck? Dude, she's making this shit up easy. I think that we should exhaust all options before going to the extreme of getting rid of him, but she's saying if I don't, she'll go back and live with someone else already. If she had told me this sooner, then we would have been able to see what works and what doesn't. But now I'm being rushed into this and I feel like I'm being threatened. I told her to see an allergist too to see if it could also be something else, which she agreed to, but hasn't pursued. Yo, I can't read this without thinking that the wife is being malicious. Like, if I got married to somebody and then after we got married, they started voicing concerns about beans, I would be fucking pissed. I would assume that they never liked my cat and they were just waiting to get me tied down so that they could have more of a say in my life. That's fucking crazy. I don't fuck with that. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I think she's either dumb and doesn't realize that her allergies are coming from something else, but she's blaming it on your dog because she doesn't like your dog or something like that, or she just doesn't like your dog and wants you to get rid of it. Anna said everyone sucks here. They're idiots for not living together first. Honestly, y'all, I kind of agree with that. I will die on this hill. If you don't live with your partner before you get married to them, I genuinely think you're setting yourself up to have a miserable marriage. You cannot properly evaluate if you and that person are compatible unless you live together. I'm sorry, that's gonna piss a bunch of people off who didn't do that, but I will die on this hill. I think everybody needs to live together for like 2 to 3 years before they even start thinking about getting married. Because you need to suss out like how your guys' cleaning habits mesh, how it works when you're sharing a space with somebody and can't really get super far away from them. It might be harsh, but I think the way that Anna put it is correct. Like, if you don't do that, then you're kind of an idiot. Like, no, you're kind of right, not gonna lie, because I lived with my ex for 3 years and was miserable. That lazy pile of shit would have been the end of me. Yeah, dude, I think that's the move. And 2, it's easier to hide when you're a shitty person when you're not living with the person. But when you're living with them and you're spending all your time with them and you can't like hide things, I think it's easier to like evaluate if that person's a shitty person. Edit. For more context, because people are asking, someone else that she's gonna go live with is her parents' house. She didn't express her issue about him to me before at all. The dogs get along generally well. My dog is good aggressive. I think he means like a little aggressive. My dog is a little aggressive, so we feed them in their crates and it has worked well. My dog is a lab husky mix. Hers is an Australian shepherd. I feel like the dander wouldn't be that much different between those 2 dogs. Am I wrong? Oh, food aggressive. Ah, I'm a fucking idiot. I should have known that. I'm so dumb. Food aggressive makes more sense. It does make sense. Sorry, guys. Yeah, hers is hairier. That's what I thought. Aussies are dander factories. That's what I thought. Okay, so you guys are on the same page as me. I'm not a dog expert, but I feel like the dander of a husky and an Australian shepherd are going to be very similar. Even though I said in the post that I would exhaust all options before getting rid of my dog, I will not get rid of him. We can figure something out, especially when I have changed his whole routine for my wife to feel better. She would even take him when I was gone for work and let him sleep in her bed. I basically had to demand she goes to the doctor, but she will not let me go to ask questions. So I then told her I need to see the paperwork then. She didn't like that. Separate rooms is an idea I am not fond of. I don't want that too early in our marriage. We did sleep in there one night and she said it was a lot better, but I used that mattress for 3 years with my dog before I got this new one that I have had for about 6 months. And they're the same mattress, just the newer one is a bigger size. Yeah, homegirl's capping. I think she's capping so hard. She's never liked your dog and wants you to get rid of it. Guys, I just want to go straight to the updates. We got to see what's happening here. Update 1 is really short. She retracts her statement now about getting rid of the dog, but still won't seek medication, and is also saying I'm not doing anything to help. when I clearly have, as stated before, with all the changes in the original post. I also brought up her never mentioning getting rid of her dog too, and she said, well, I didn't, but when you said it, it made me realize that was a good idea. Does she want to get rid of her dog? I also brought up her never mentioning getting rid of her dog too, and she said, well, I didn't, but when you said it, it made me realize that was a good idea. In parentheses, very suspicious and interesting to me. I'll continue to update as it goes further. Wait, so now this bitch wants to get rid of her own dog too? Y'all, this is my biggest fear. Marrying somebody and then finding out that they're an absolute terrorist. Like, that's weird and concerning. I agree. I think this is all so sketchy. Update 2. She needed to use her emergency inhaler last night. I don't know whether that's because she was relaxing finally, she's been stressing herself, or whatever else is causing her asthma flare-up to happen. I even asked if she wanted to go to the emergency room before she took the inhaler, but she declined and refused to go. I told her she needs to go see a doctor, and I will be going with her because if it's as bad as you say it is, we need answers. She has agreed, but keeps saying they're not going to believe me. In parentheses, why wouldn't they believe you? If it's as serious as you say, and I will be there to help ask questions and not let them walk all over you if they say you are overreacting. Again though, if it's as serious as she says it is, then I know them denying it won't be the case. I told her that I would never get rid of my dog because 1, we don't even know if it's the dog's, in parentheses, did finally make her realize it could be literally anything else. 2, we will find a solution if it is. I mean, something OP never brought up, like where did they move into? Like, did they move into a different house, or are they still in the same house that she's been staying in with him for a while now? I don't know. This whole thing is just a mess, bro. She has now tried to spin it on me that now she sees I would choose the dog over her. But you should never put me in that position in the first place. I would never tell you to get rid of your dog if I was allergic to it or suspected I was. I would do everything to make sure you can keep it. Thank you for your comments and help. I will continue to update. Listen, I'm trying to find the love of my life, but the second she's like, you gotta get rid of Beans, I'm like, I gotta get rid of you. Bro's been here longer than you, my guy. I will fucking rent a separate apartment for Beans before I get rid of him, man. That is a crazy thing to do. Okay, no more updates from OP. Okay, it started right as she moved in. Okay, I think that means that she moved in to where OP has been living and she has been staying before. We live in the house I got almost a year ago. She didn't move in until we were married, but she stayed over there most of the week. Okay, here's my bold prediction. Don't get me wrong, I still think the wife is an asshole, but it sounds like I wonder if OP has mold. Oh, yeah, you guys are saying it. Mold is something that causes stuff like this, right? I'm curious if we're correct. I feel like it's mold, and I feel like still kind of like crazy for the wife to just immediately accuse the dog. Like, how does she know that it's the Husky's dander and not the Aussie's dander? Am I the a-hole? I didn't tell my fiance I had a boob job before we met. I'm 24, and I've been with my fiance for almost 3 years, engaged for half a year. Prior to meeting him, when I was 18, I had a breast augmentation. I was an A cup and not confident whatsoever, so I did a lot of research at the time to get the most realistic look possible. I went with gummy bear under the muscle. In case any girlies are wondering, I don't gatekeep. All right, you know what, WOP? You know what, girlies? You get those boob jobs. Hell yeah. But also, if OP drops where they got the boob job, I'm convinced this is fake and it's just an ad. I went with the gummy bear under the muscle and you genuinely can't even tell. I never brought it up while we were dating. Obviously, he's seen pics of me as a teen compared to now, but I guess he just thought puberty did its thing? I don't know. It never came up naturally, and I didn't see the need to go to him and be like, oh, by the way, my boobs are fake, especially if he wasn't able to notice by seeing/touching. Is it pretty easy to suss out when boobs are fake or not? Not me making the fucking man. Here's the thing. I'm not saying OP is the a-hole for this. I think it is dumb that you guys have been dating for almost 3 years and engaged for half a year and you never brought that up. Like I said, I don't think that makes OP the a-hole, but also it's like, how do you not just bring that up? Yes, they're pretty easy to suss out. They have this funny feeling to them. Ah, okay. Apparently the gummy bear implants she has, it makes it harder to tell. Okay. As a titty sommelier, they can be easier to suss out, but also depends on the job. Thank you, Kitten Sandwich, our resident titty sommelier, for clearing that up for us. I'm glad somebody could do it. Recently, though, I've been starting to have symptoms that might be related to the implants, tired more than usual, joints hurt, feeling off in general, etc. After looking into it more, I think it could be implant sickness, and am heavily considering getting the girls taken out. I already went to a consultation. Because of that, I finally told him I thought the time has come since it's possibly affecting my well-being now. He didn't take it well at all. He said I catfished him. and should have told him earlier because this kind of complication was always a real possibility. He also said if he had known, it would have mattered to him, especially since it might entail another surgery and more health stuff in the future. I was thrown off by his reaction. I can see how it affects him now in a way, but it was something confidential I did to my own body way before I knew him. I didn't think I was obliged to tell anyone unless it somehow became relevant, which I guess it currently has. He says it's about trust and transparency, but I feel like he's making a bigger deal than it is. I'm sorry, but this line is fucking bullshit. No man hears that someone got a boob job that they're potentially dating, and they go, maybe I don't want to date this person because of possible future surgeries and or health issues in the future. Like, no fucking man has ever said that ever, and I would fucking put money on it. He more cares about this, oh, you catfished him. Bro, shut the fuck up. If you got catfished by bigger boobs, you are a fucking scum of a man. Listen, I still am of the belief that OP should have communicated this earlier. Are they required to? No, but I think it's like something that maybe you just bring up casually eventually in your relationship, especially when you're 3 years in. I do think it's something that could have been brought up earlier. Do I think OP's the a-hole? No, but like might be worth disclosing, in my opinion. That being said, it never should be something that your partner finds out about and is like, whoa, deal breaker. Cause like, what the fuck? That's stupid. And if he was just with you for your boobs, that probably means he's not worth keeping around. Like, what the actual fuck, dog? Bro's got more titty and he's upset. He's also upset now that he's losing titty. But like, bro, titty is not guaranteed to you. Titty is blessing if there, but that shouldn't be why you there. If titty only reason you in relationship, not good relationship. You should be in relationship because you love them for more than titty. OP replied to a comment saying, we had a talk about it last night. He said he feels duped because it's one of his favorite features. So now he has to come to terms with the fact that they might be removed and wonders what else I would hide. We're being fucking dramatic. Your fiance is shallow and just liked you for your big ol' honkers, girl. As well as the financial aspect, he doesn't want to pay for any more surgeries down the line, which is wild. I'd never expect that of him. I don't think our relationship is gonna survive this, honestly. I mean, that might be a good thing, bro. Like, it sounds like he only liked you for your boobs. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm thinking of like any girl I've ever dated ever and how I was into them. Like, I never would have been like, oh my God, you have fake boobs? Like, we can't do this anymore. Like, it's so rat brain. It's like, bro, if you're just with your partner for their boobs, you need therapy. I get it, man. Boobs are cool. They're fun. They're bouncy, bro. I get it. But like, that shouldn't be why you fall in love with someone and decide to get married to them. That's so funny. I think the like, oh, you're gonna have future surgeries, I'm gonna have to pay for it. Like, that's just an excuse. Like, he's just trying to like divert it to something other than just, oh, I'm leaving you because you don't have boobs anymore. Maybe if you had boobs. No, I'm not leaving you just for your boobs. I'm leaving you because of the medical implications of this. Like, shut the fuck up, you boner. Am I the a-hole for laughing when my little sister walked in on my parents? My little sister, 12 female, came into my room in a panic, claiming that she couldn't find our parents. In parentheses, it is 11 p.m. For context, I am 16 female. She said that she could see movement in our dad's van and that she was gonna go and check it out. I, knowing what she might find, told her not to, but she didn't listen and I was barely awake, so I just told her to go back to bed. In parentheses, I figured she'd just look out the front door and go back to bed. 5 minutes later, she came back into my room, bright red, crying a bit and looking traumatized, saying that she went to the van, knocked on the door, and when she got no reply, slid the door open only to see our parents both naked and in a compromising position. I was and still am quite tired, so my first response was to burst out laughing and tell her that it happens to everyone. Girl, I wouldn't say it happens to everyone. Not saying that everybody should walk in on their parents having sex. I want to clarify that. That being said, I always think back to the episode of Modern Family when they walk in on their parents having sex on their anniversary. Like, there's that scene where they're kind of like, my friend's parents are divorced and it was because they didn't have sex. So maybe it's a good thing that our parents have sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. I understand that it might be not something you want to see, but at the same time, I think it's a good sign. Like, you want two loving parents who are like, hey babe, let's go sneak out to the band and fuck. That probably means that your parents love each other, and I think it just needs to be framed that way. But yeah, saying that it happens to everyone is crazy. Like, no, it doesn't. I tell her that it happens to everyone, and that's just an awkward part of growing up. She didn't take this very well and went back to her room. Our house has pretty thin walls, so I can currently hear her getting the talk from our mom. Oh my God. Bro, to be a fly on the wall, hearing my parents give my siblings the talk because the one they gave me was so bad. I need to know if it was as bad as mine was. That's so funny. I feel pretty bad that I laughed, but in my defense, I was half asleep and it's currently my time of the month, so I've been a bit emotionally unstable because of it. Plus, I pretty much went through the same thing on multiple occasions and now know to just stay in my room at night. It didn't occur to me in the moment that she wouldn't listen and go to investigate. Am I in the wrong? P.S. on the bright side, at least now I know to avoid sitting in the back of the van. I didn't even think about that. Y'all, that's so funny. Yeah, man, I hope those parents wiped down that van, bro. This one's so easily not the a-hole. Thank you for sharing your little sister's most traumatic moment probably ever in their 11 years of life so far. That's just straight comedy, man. I also just think that's like a better reason to maybe educate your kids on sex a lot earlier. Like, I think 12 female, and you guys might disagree with this, but I think 12 female getting the talk is a little bit old. Like, bro, I think I was like 9 or 10 and my hockey friends and my friends at school were talking about sex, which by the way is the fucking worst way to learn about sex because they don't know shit. Bro, for the longest time, I seriously thought that like blowjobs and boob jobs had a part to play in getting a woman pregnant, like 100%, because I first had it explained to me by my friend's older brother. I don't know, I could be wrong for that, but I just think like educating your kids before another kid tries to educate them is so important. Oh man. 10 for me. Yeah, I think that's like an appropriate age, man. Especially now. Like, I just feel like a kid could go down the wrong hole on social media and just very easily fucking figure out. OP did clarify. It's because I'm at home with them a lot because I'm homeschooled and I've only walked in on them like once or twice and thankfully didn't see much. All right, I guess that makes a little bit more sense, but like still, that's crazy, bro. Your parents need to get sneakier. They're not sneaky enough. Tell them to get sneaky with it. Get jiggy with it. No, get sneaky with it.